Hello everybody and welcome back to the F1 2021 Co-op Career Mode Season 5 with me, Dan, and of course my co-commentator Nick, with our graphics templates provided by Matt Amos and Lom1138 as usual. And we come to round 7 today, the French Grand Prix. We're almost upon the halfway point of the season, and championship leader Pierre Gasly will be hoping to pick up a good result during this race. Of course, he has absolutely dominated this season so far, and despite the best efforts of the Aston Martin duo of Lance Stroll and Antonio Giovinazzi, and even the Mercedes duo of Justin Freshpot and Yuki Tsunoda, they have not been caught just yet. In the meantime, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, comment down below what was your favourite part of this race, and we'll get on with the starting grid order for the French Grand Prix. And on the front row for the second race in a row is Justin Freshpot in the Mercedes. He's alongside Lando Norris. Lance Stroll and Valtteri Bottas, a surprise fourth place, follow them. Then we've got Pierre Gasly, home favourite, in fifth place, and Yuki Tsunoda P6. Antonio Giovinazzi and Nicholas Latifi round out the penultimate row of the top 10. And then there's George Russell and Lewis Hamilton rounding them out. Moving on to the second half of the field, we have Robert Schwartzman in the other Alfa Romeo and Carlos Sainz. Then it's Nikita Mazepin and Radiant Slothz, who's had a good performance here in the past. We have Guan Yu Zhou lining up alongside Charles Leclerc in the first of the Hasses. Then it's Esteban Ocon alongside Mick Schumacher in the other Haas. And of course, round out at the back row is Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, who's taken a penalty. Let's get on with this race.
France, Justin Freshpot on pole.
Lando Norris alongside him. Where's Pierre Gasly, I hear you ask? He's retired, only joking. There he is, driving past. Down into turn
Freshpot
1.
here, an incredible driver.
Jostling for
Look at
position.
him go.
Pierre Gasly up into third place at turn 1. We jump back down the order. Radiant Sloths gains a few positions. He's under attack from the McLaren. He moves right. Oh my, Guan Yu Zhou crashes into Charles Leclerc for no reason. McLaren's fighting as a bollard underneath Guan Yu Zhou's front wing. Disgusting that he's murdered that bollard. As we come around onto the back straight, Nikita Mazepin up ahead. Carlos Sainz is going to have a look.
Easy overtake for Carlos Sainz on the rookie Radiant Sloths. Radiant Sloths swerving all over the place.
Trying to get back at him. Guan Yu Zhou's having there's another bollard has been viciously slaughtered. There it was, bouncing into the barriers in the background. Let's go on board at the start with Radiant Sloths. It was a slow getaway. And there's one of the McLarens in front. I don't know who that is. That's Carlos Sainz. Much faster away. There's Guan Yu Zhou shoving Radiant Sloths onto the grass and nearly makes him crash into Carlos Sainz. There's another bollard being killed. And there's the incident there. Guan Yu Zhou smacking into the Ferrari, and Radiant Sloths just trying to get through this.
Radiant Sloths here about to track extend. That's a 5-second penalty. Another time Radiant Sloths has been caught cheating. It's Justin Freshpot, the greatest driver on earth, defending from Lance Stroll.
Under attack.
Massive moment as he tried to get on the traction, giving Lance Stroll an opportunity. Justin Freshpot holds on though.
Just about. It's a massive track extend for Justin Freshpot. Clearly not able to find where the line is, and he will potentially suffer. Lance Stroll crashing into Pierre Gasly.
A very optimistic move.
That will
pass Lance Stroll.
Whip the French into a frenzy there, seeing their star driver under attack.
Track extends. And now he's right on the back of Justin Freshpot.
He's got DRS. What's he going to do? He's closing back. Here comes Pierre Gasly. Justin Freshpot's all over the place.
Justin Freshpot aggressively breaks the slipstream.
We've lost Carlos Sainz as well. We've just seen a DNF on the timing chart there.
Radiant Sloths has crashed into Carlos Sainz. Disgusting. Justin Freshpot stays ahead for now.
This is the onboard. This was Pierre Gasly being crashed into by Lance Stroll. There it is. He opens the steering into the Frenchman.
Anyway, Pierre Gasly, of course, at his home Grand Prix, he will receive one baguette if he wins this race. Radiant Sloths, of course, we already know won't be receiving that baguette as Carlos Sainz explodes in front of him. As I said, Carlos Sainz DNF was Radiant Sloth's fault as he cuts the corner for some reason.
I believe it was last season that Radiant Slothz decided to kill half of the French supporters by choking them with a billow of toxic fumes as Pierre Gasly once again
under massive pressure, but he stays ahead.
Gasly, he's not even waiting.
Gasly hits him.
He's hit the Mercedes already.
Drag race down to turn 1. The AlphaTauri gets DRS. Justin Freshpot doesn't get DRS.
There's going to be no contest. Massive aggression there from Justin Freshpot.
Pierre Gasly off the track trying to track extend. That is cheating.
Justin Freshpot keeps it between the lines this time. Unfortunately, Pierre Gasly is already back behind him, mocking him in the mirrors, closing up very tightly. Lance Stroll doing a fantastic job in the background of getting in everyone's way. And look at the closing speed from Pierre Gasly there. Justin Freshpot already going defensive. He's weaving all over the place.
He's
hit the Frenchman.
He's breaking the toe again.
He's forcing him off the track.
Pierre Gasly wide. He's going to go up the inside into the chicane. What a move by Justin Freshpot. This is why he's the greatest driver in Formula 1 history with 4 wins to his name.
Pierre Gasly, though, already beaten that tally. He's looking up the inside, and he's going to make it into this corner.
Side by side, flat out.
It's very close there.
40 miles an hour. Pierre Gasly's got ahead.
The Mercedes dropping back. Is there
that Team Viewer sponsorship not helping?
Oh, is there damage on the Mercedes? That is an enormous track extend there.
Pierre Gasly must have crashed into Justin Freshpot for him to have missed the corner by that much.
He's decided to stay out, though. Perhaps he is okay. We'll see, can he catch up in the DRS zone down the pit straight? There's Antonio Giovinazzi. He's gotten past Lance Stroll. And it doesn't look like it. Let's have a look on board.
Justin Freshpot, a great driver, but Pierre Gasly crashes into him here.
There's contact. Very slight, but there was definitely contact. And Pierre Gasly with his ludicrously fast cut. That was an interesting corner entry there.
Justin Freshpot
nearly hits the wall.
Massive damage from Pierre Gasly. Nothing he could do.
Box, box, box.
Here he is coming around a lap later. And it looks as though he has decided to go into the pits. That was not him trying to crash his car into the wall. And we'll probably
Mercedes
see
crew ready.
Sirens going off. Someone else must be on their way in. Look in the background who it is. Oh, there's Lewis Hamilton. And Radiant Slothz has come in. And they're coming down. Lewis Hamilton's still amazing that he's even still alive at this point in the sport, but I'll have to see how things go for him. And out they go. Lewis Hamilton remains ahead of the Ferrari. And they all drop down to the bottom of the field. Justin Freshpot's a little further up, though. And Charles Leclerc all the way back in last. As we see Justin
Freshpot now behind Mick Schumacher. A much slower car he needs to get past quickly. Look at that speed difference. He almost rear ends the Haas through the chicane.
Oh, he's lost it!
Mick Schumacher brake checked the Mercedes.
Justin
Freshpot it back around.
Shocking. Of course, recently reprimanded by the FIA for exposing himself at a press conference. And that's the last thing he needed right now. Let's see the onboard.
Mick Schumacher brake testing the Mercedes, or is that just how slow the Haas is? Either way, it threw off the Mercedes, and it's just gone round.
It looks as
Someone's
though
pulled the handbrake.
Looks as though Justin
Toto Wolff has sabotaged Justin Freshpot by pulling the electronic handbrake in his Mercedes.
Either that, or he's been reading Radiant Sloth's new autobiography, How Not to Finish. And he's been reading chapter 1 there as we see Radiant Slothz with a damaged front wing end plate chasing down Valtteri Bottas. It looks like there's a massive chunk out of his front wing as well. Of course, that is chapter 2, damaging your car before you reach the end of the Grand Prix. But also keeping it running. And as you can see, enormous pieces gone. But he's still going. just like he said. And Valtteri Bottas up ahead. Oh, there's a massive accident!
Lando Norris has moved in the braking zone.
Box.
Nowhere to go. Massive damage now to that Mercedes. Disgraceful from Lando Norris.
That completely caught me off guard there as we go on board with Justin Freshbot.
Justin Freshbot moves to the inside. Lando Norris turns left in the braking zone. Justin Freshbot can't react, tries to move, locks up. His front wing is now in the stratosphere.
That's right on board. That's what he definitely moved to the left and slammed on the brakes there. Lando Norris going out of his way to stop any other British driver becoming the greatest of all time. He's chasing a third world title this season. Back to back on board with Radiant Slothz. He's now got 2 Alfa Romeos in front of him. They're breeding. And just ahead is the other Red Bull of George Russell. Hopefully he won't be killed by Lando Norris. And would you believe it? It is, of course, Robert Schwartzman at the front of this queue. He's put the hard tyre on so he can hold up his teammate and Radiant Slothz. He'll be looking to score some more points after a few lackluster performances recently. Coming into the end of the DRS straight, Valtteri Bottas becoming increasingly frustrated with Robert Schwartzman. Not able to get past. Incredible engineering from the Mercedes pit crew, having an extendable front wing that came out of that broken one. I guess the mechanism to trigger it wasn't working on track. They've had to swap it for a new one.
Justin Freshbot now drops behind Max Verstappen. This is very sad to see.
Talking of sad to see, Robert Schwartzman. Yeah, Robert Schwartzman. And Valtteri Bottas now under threat from Radiant Slothz, who's now so slow that he's going to have to draft all the way down the pit straight. Looks up the inside. Has he made it? Oh, he's gone massively wide.
Cuts the corner. More cheating from Radiant Slothz.
Nikita Mazepin has a look as well. He's potentially crashed into Valtteri Bottas. And now Robert Schwartzman remains under attack. There's a bit of a moment for the Ferrari, which is still incredibly slow. Down the back straight they go. Robert Schwartzman going to be under massive pressure now with those hard tyres. Unfortunately for Radiant Slothz, it's not going to be this lap, but he is in the points, which is something that he's not used to seeing in this car.
Here we see Radiant Slothz crashes into Bottas. You have to say a racially provoked attack. He's now trying to pull alongside to make obscene gestures to the Finnish driver. Instead, he's going to cut the corner, throwing the FIA rulebook into complete disregard. Disgraceful.
Incredibly kept it within the white line until hitting the apex. This was Nikita Mazepin watching the move, and his attempt to capitalise on the situation. Radiant Slothz all over the road, as is Valtteri Bottas now, and Nikita Mazepin. Yep, there's the contact. He did in fact crash into Valtteri Bottas, who got revenge by slipping one up the inside and gives Nikita Mazepin the finger as he goes past. As Radiant Slothz lines up a move on Robert Schwartzman, arguably one of the worst Formula One drivers ever recruited into the sport. He's been overtaken already, but his Alfa Romeo is even slower than Valtteri Bottas's. Radiant Slothz is able to get past in the DRS zone with minimal effort in a car which has a top speed of 6 miles an hour. Robert Schwartzman, what a driver, is unable to challenge a comeback.
Here we see the onboard. Radiant Slothz crashes into the Alfa Romeo. Now saying various slurs out of the cockpit. You have to say it's disgraceful that Ferrari keep him employed.
Radiant Slothz publicly went out and told the press that Ferrari have a terrible car and that he hates it.
And
Justin Russell, he celebrates.
He celebrates winning the championship.
He hasn't won the race.
He hasn't won. He's been given false information. He's been told to carry on.
He's just realised there's another 4 laps to go, and he's decided to carry on. Unbelievable why the Mercedes crew let that one go. And he's about to be lapped by Pierre Gasly. Oh, there's been a massive accident!
Pierre Gasly's hit Justin Freshbot, the recently crowned world champion, is out of this race.
What a shocking turn that this has been. Pierre Gasly almost DNFs again at the French Grand Prix.
Justin Freshbot waving to the fans, celebrating. Pierre Gasly just puts him in the wall. That tyre's hit him in the head.
The halo
17 times.
does its job for the second race in a row. Justin Freshbot.
Those marshals are not interested in helping Justin Freshbot. Here we see Pierre Gasly.
Let's watch. And he's been playing too much GTA. Spins him out.
Disgraceful.
And we're just seeing Radiant Slothz at the end of this safety car has been given a 3-second penalty for exceeding track limits.
You have to say that was coming. All we've seen from Radiant Slothz this season is track extend after corner cut.
Robert Schwartzman will be loving that because it means he doesn't actually have to overtake. Although,
and there's another track.
He's going to try anyway. Here comes Robert Schwartzman in the Alfa Romeo. Radiant Slothz defends it. Didn't really put much effort in there by the looks of things. He's going to carry on. Up ahead, George Russell, P6. What could he do to get past the Red Bull? Pierre Gasly, for those interested, looks as though he is going to finish a French Grand Prix, although he's currently outside of the points in the fastest car in the grid. So, potentially has a chance, but finishing is the first stage. As we ride on board with Radiant Slothz. Nearing the end of the final lap, there's Pierre Gasly. He's moved up into the points, taking 10th from Nikita Mazepin. But Radiant Slothz, he's begun to slow down. Ferrari on the radio saying, hit Pierre Gasly. Surely, oh, he does it! He's done it anyway!
Pierre Gasly has spun. Radiant Slothz cuts the corner.
Unbelievable. The Ferrari ordered the destruction of Pierre Gasly's car. They did not want to see a Frenchman score points here. They only wanted Esteban Ocon up there. Although Radiant Slothz missed that transmission and has tried to hit.
Track extend.
Oh, he's made contact.
All over the place here.
Oh, there's been a massive accident on the pitching front wing going everywhere. Some enormous pieces flying up into the sky. This was, I think, Lewis Hamilton or Nikita Mazepin watching the incident.
You have to say that was Pierre Gasly's fault. For once, Radiant Slothz did not cause a collision. Perez, we didn't see a single shot of him all race. A deserved driver of the day.
As always, and once again, the slightly balding man in charge of AlphaTauri, whose name escapes me, celebrates. Nicholas Latifi picking up possibly his first Formula One win in his career. Incredible. And his helmet, despite not being part of his original team, actually looks like it belongs with that car, which you've got to give him credit for, because everyone else is driving with stolen helmets at this stage. There he is. He looks delighted. Antonio Giovinazzi misses out yet again on a race win. And everybody's favourite and arch nemesis, Lando Norris, incredibly manages to pick up third place on the podium. He's gone off to the side to spray someone with champagne. And there he is. King Latifi takes the crown at the French Grand Prix. And that is all for today's race, with Nicholas Latifi, of course, picking up his first win, I think, ever in Formula One. He's followed by Antonio Giovinazzi, a man who's still not been able to take the top step of the podium, and Lando Norris back on form. They were followed by Lewis Hamilton, Yuki Tsunoda, George Russell, Robert Schwartzman, Valtteri Bottas, Nikita Mazepin, and finally Lance Stroll. Over in the Drivers' Championship, Pierre Gasly's lead was halted. Antonio Giovinazzi gains a few points, as does Nicholas Latifi, who now is sitting in third place. Then we have Justin Freshpot, Lewis Hamilton, Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, George Russell, Lando Norris, and Carlos Sainz running out the top 10. And a little way behind them, Charles Leclerc and Radiant Slothz. Over in the Constructors, AlphaTauri's lead is still unchallenged. Aston Martin now sit slap bang in the middle of them and Mercedes. Then it's back to Red Bull, Williams, McLaren, Alfa Romeo, Haas, Ferrari 1 point behind, and Alpine on 0 points. That's all. We'll catch you in the next one.